So I don't know what else to say other than we need to do a better job of communicating. And you know, I haven't talked to my cousin Guido in New Jersey to take care of Mark Weil yet from RenWeb. That's not going to happen. Mark and I are speaking friends. We talk on a regular basis and deal with these issues. There's right now the big issue is how we're going to move all the data out of RenWeb into the NAD database. If they don't find a solution for that somehow, then we're going to start putting pressure on schools that says you have to do it or else there's going to be some consequences. I mean, we have to do that eventually. So RenWeb's going to have to step up and solve that issue, or else we're going to say you must move over to a system that will allow you to move your data over. Okay? Yes?
If a school is presently using RenWeb but has the Hunter software, would you assist in helping them to make the transition through reverse?
Yes, and we will actually move all of your data from RenWeb into Hunter free. Okay? If RenWeb will allow us the access codes to get in, which so far they have not been willing to do. But we'll try our best to do that. Let me show you, and then I'm just going to show you where and give you an idea of the school board orientations. Is it important to orient your board? Is it important to orient your board about SIS systems? Did your board make an informed decision when they chose RenWeb? Probably not. If they were not given the choice of Hunter, and they didn't know that Hunter was the division recommended program, and they chose RenWeb in a vacuum, then they weren't making informed decisions. There are many conferences that choose RenWeb even though they have an informed decision because of finances or because they don't want to be told what to do by their union or division. That happens. If you look on LarryBlackmer.com, you'll come down here, school board orientation. There are 2 sessions, and I usually spend about an hour on each session when I do a board presentation. If you try to you can do it all in one, but it's a little bit tedious to go through all of it in one setting. There's lots and lots and lots of good information that we've accumulated here on this site. Financial ratios, understanding financial statements, and you see a lot of it's, they're not mine. I've just collected all this data from other places. We go through and talk about effective board protocol, what the object of education is. We talk about do boards understand they're part of a bigger system? Does that local lay person that sits in the pews understand the full picture of Adventist education? Many times not. And many times it's eye-opening for them to find out that we have 5,500 schools, that we have almost 1 million students in Adventist education, that we have 46,000 teachers in Adventist education worldwide. And we talk about the North American Division, and we talk about This one I did for the Lake Union, and so I have all the statistics in here for the Lake Union. And you can put your information in for your union. Interesting flow chart that's really valuable for board members. Where do they fit? Who has the right to administrate other levels? For instance, General Conference, North American Division, the Union Board of Education, the Conference Board of Education, the school constituency. Who has the right to tell the school board what to do? School constituency and the conference education. And the union can go through the conference education department in order to help the school board. And then the school board, do they talk to teachers? Is there a line to teachers in the school board? Is there a line to students or parents from the school board? Is it the school board's responsibility to deal with individual teachers and their performance issues in general, except if they're working through school administration, right? The school constituency, because usually the school constituency is made up of the members of the local churches. Pardon? You said the board has membership. That's right. That's right. Now, let me just talk. It's not in this presentation, and I'm not going to go through the whole presentation. I'm just going to click through it quickly so you see what's there. But I have a real burden about quality of school boards. I just came from Battle Creek. Battle Creek probably has one of the strongest school board management systems of almost any school in North America. I'll share one exception to that in a minute. They do board training every other board meeting. Every other board meeting, they do board training. They have a dentist as the chair of the board, and he is big into organizational theory. And every other board meeting, they talk about what their role is as a board. And they do board training every other meeting for about half of the meeting. And they don't get bogged down into all the nitty-gritty and micromanaging in the school. They deal with the policy issues and where they're supposed to be as a board, which gives them time then to do some of the board training that they need to do. When I first started serving on that board as a conference superintendent, I lived about 30 miles from Battle Creek, and I would typically get home about 1:30 in the morning from a Battle Creek board. Any of you have board meetings like that? Battle Creek went through 3 principals in 3 years and 4 treasurers in 3 years. It was a difficult time in there, and then they said something needs to change. Robin Steele became the chair, and they revamped their board and how they operated as a school. And it changed how that school operates from the grassroots up. Another example, how do we choose school board members for our school boards? How are they chosen? Church nominating committee, and then you have some that are ex officio that come because of their position. How many pastors? If you have 3 constituent churches, how many pastors will serve on your board? 3. And if you have 2 large churches and a small church, will the small church have the same ratio of, here's a new paradigm for you. Atlanta Adventist Academy, their geographical situation was such that they could not continue. They were in one corner of Atlanta, and it took an hour or an hour and a half for the kids on the other corner of Atlanta to get through Atlanta in morning traffic to get to the school. And their enrollment was going down, 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 down. So they decided that they were going to sell the physical plant and then locate 3 satellite schools in 3 corners of Atlanta and connect those 3 campuses by distance education so that students in Atlanta could choose to go to any one of the 3 schools in Atlanta and get the same education that the other schools were getting. They were all connected by high quality distance education. So if you went to Peachtree City, or if you went to Marietta, or you went to Duluth, Duluth was the larger school, and some of the teachers were in Duluth, but if the teacher lived closer to Peachtree City, they would go to Peachtree City and teach their classes from Peachtree City. And then all the other kids would see the same thing. It was a traditional program, only run through distance education. And their enrollment went up 50% the first year. Their enrollment went up 50% the first year, and the technology wasn't even working right. But now kids had access to the school. Was that a good thing? And yes, it grew again the second year. Now, they went a step further. They said, wait a minute, if we're going to sell Atlanta Adventist Academy and we're going to do this new program, how are we going to administrate this new program? Because now we have these, before you had one central campus and you had all these people that were constituent churches to that. Now we have a school in Marietta, and there's an elementary school there, but there's now the academy. It's still Atlanta Adventist Academy in a separate little building outside. And in Peachtree City, there's a separate little building that they have. Every building, every classroom is painted the exact same color. It has the exact same furniture, so that if you are sitting in another classroom, you can't tell which classroom those other kids are sitting in. It all looks the same. They said they have an organizational issue that they have to address. So what they did is they fired the whole board. You're gone. See ya. Disbanded the board. And they said, now if we were going to choose a new board, what is the best way for us, what's the best type of board for us to have for this school? Well, we need an attorney, we need some finance people, we need some business people, we need somebody from the church, we need somebody that represents the parents, we need